We've all heard of or seen the movie The Matrix. It takes place in a dystopian world where everybody is living in this blissful reality where everything they see is to be true and to be real, but they do not know that their actual bodies are in some cryostasis in a pod in reality.
It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television.
A lot of people in real life like to refer to the Matrix in real life and say things like people have to escape the Matrix or the Matrix is out to control people. I'm going to just rip the Band-Aid off and say the Matrix, I'm going to use it synonymously with reality, with the real world, whatever you consider to be reality. And reality is whatever labels or titles you put on things and people in your reality. Your reality is created by your mind and your mind only. The things that you believe to be true and not to be true will be true. The man that says he can and the man that says he cannot are both correct.
Do you believe in fate, Neo?
No,
Why not?
because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
Everything begins with choice.
Wanted to make this video to kind of break down what the Matrix is, because a lot of people like to refer to the Matrix and never really tell you what it truly is. Just to explain to people who use the Matrix in real life and say you have to escape it or that it's something to be overcome. Yeah, these people like to externalize their control because they feel no control over their lives in some way, so they like to put it onto the Shadow Matrix, the Illuminati, or whatever they want to call it. They like to put the responsibility over there because then they have no control over their lives and then things cannot be their fault. Humans naturally do this with a lot of things. We like to blame other things so that we can take the responsibility off ourselves so we don't feel the shame for whatever happened to us. But in reality, everything is in our control and everything that happens in our reality is our fault. Yes, random things happen, but it is up to you how you internalize these things that happen and the way you think about them. A good way that I like to think about the quote-unquote Matrix is the allegory of the cave. He made this kind of like thought experiment. It's like a picture of these people in a cave, and there are people in a cave and they're looking at shadows on the wall. And to me, what I think Plato was getting at, this is basically the thought of the Matrix even back in the day. And he's basically explaining how what the allegory of the cave is getting at is that as people, we look through our very narrow lenses at the world. And we can put, let's say you're a politician, you're a government worker. You have to look at everything in the world as in a political sense. You have to see everything as political jargon. I really don't know too much about politics. Like, for example, let's say your political opponents are doing something you would deem to be irrational. You'll be like, they are pushing an agenda, blah, 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 blah. Everything is an agenda. They're pushing an agenda as long as it's not your side. Whatever you identify as in the world will be the way that you interpret the world. Basically, when I think about the red pill, all right, so let's break down the red pill. The red pill, basically, the reason it's called the red pill is because they deem it to be truth. So like in the Matrix movie, Neo is given a red pill and a blue pill to choose between. The blue pill keeps him in a blissful ignorance, while the red pill awakes him and shows him the reality of the world, which is ironic because when people in the real world consider themselves to be red-pilled, they're just ingrained in another matrix themselves, in their what they deem to be reality. There are people who objectify women but enjoy the fact that these women are promiscuous. They don't have to commit to because they see them as just an object. But because they are ingrained in this red pill reality mentality, they will look for the women who they themselves claim to hate. The universe kind of works like the YouTube algorithm in a sense, where wherever you focus your attention on is what you will get more of. So for example, these people will show hate to certain people, and because they show this hate, the universe will give them more of what they dislike, this hate towards these people. Your sense of reality and quote-unquote the Matrix, we're going to use them synonymously. is also based on what you think about yourself in a sense. Such as if you don't believe yourself to be able to accomplish certain things, or you believe some things are out of your reach, or that you are not worthy of certain things, your reality will show that belief system. Your reality outside of you will show that you are not worthy or that you do not care about certain things because you do not. Another thing this could be applied to is, like I said, the things we believe in ourselves. Let's say you've had a bad habit you wanted to break for a while, and you know it's bad for you. Maybe you don't want to break it, but you know it's bad for you, like such as maybe you're like chronically drinking or chronically smoking. You're going to normalize these things to yourself so you could keep doing it. Even though you know it's bad for you in some way, you're going to make it normal. Maybe you hang out with people that make it normal. Such as, let's say you're a smoker, maybe you hang with people who are smokers. So this is a normal thing, smoking. I could smoke all day long because my friend here, he smokes 5 packs. I only smoke 4. So I'm not as bad off as him. And we will rationalize in our minds how these things are normal to us. So we keep doing them. And how will you ever stop being a smoker if you consider yourself to be one? The matrix / reality is whatever you deem it to be. And it is better to be aware of the things we think about and the things we strive for. You will be off track by a lot more once you take one misstep in the beginning and they're just following that step. Something else to get on is basically the distractions in this world that cause us to kind of like not care about our reality or not think about our reality as deeply. And one thing I can point to that is as close to me as the Matrix as possible is social media / technology, whatever you want to call this black magic box, basically. People who are living through this thing, I can guarantee there are so many people who live through this, but they will tell you. The people who lived on social media will tell you it is not bad for them at all. They know how to balance out their lives, and that their social media account it affects their lives in no way. Like they just post on it sometimes. But these people will also perceive to have a breakdown on social media, and whenever they have to distract themselves from their own lives, they'll just chronically scroll through their favorite social media of choice. Let that be TikTok, so YouTube, the Infernals in Twitter, Instagram. These people will distract themselves and just bury themselves in this phone and just like completely ignore what's in their reality, and then will proceed to do nothing of their reality because they're so ingrained. I also consider social media the worst distraction ever because it will solidify what you believe in yourself to be true already, such as maybe you're reposting certain ideologies that you follow, and this will solidify more your point of view on the world. You will follow people and you will see people, and you will contain yourself in an echo chamber where what you already perceive to be true will be even more true, because then you're reposting, you're seeing posts that agree with your mind state. So then you will never even think about it. Most of the time you won't even think about these things anymore. You will just believe it to be true. This is the most fake and distorted way to see the world, just because most people aren't truthful on these things at all. Like, they're posting their best possible day, the best possible way that they could look. Like, everything is fabricated on social media. Nothing is real at all. It is not a real place, and people spend most of their time in that place. The best way to be aware of these things and to, I guess you could say, question reality and maybe not fall into these autonomous programs and things that you do, and maybe not fall into these thoughts that you have as much, is just being aware, I guess. A lot of people are going to tell you, like, I would tell you mainly to meditate, but a lot of people don't like meditation because all they think about is breathing and doing nothing, and that meditation is just you doing nothing. But the practice of you breathing and focusing on your breath and getting lost in a thought, and then being able to bring your attention back to your breath, is already showing you that you are not your thoughts. The things that happen in your mind are not you. Maybe they are an impulse that comes from something that happens in the external world, but they are not you. The way that you use the word is proof itself that your thoughts are not you. When you say that they are your thoughts and that the thoughts are yours. If something is yours, it cannot be you. Something else that affects the way we see reality is even the words that we use. What happens over a lifetime when you are identifying as these things? I am anxious. I am nervous. I am an introvert. When you identify with these things over the course of your lifetime, why would you interact with people? Why would you go out into the world and do anything? Because you are these things and you're walking around with all these things. And because you identify yourself as to be these things, it might be hard for you to break out of it. The way we grew up definitely affects the way that we think about ourselves and the world around us. If you grew up having a rough childhood, I guess, and maybe you weren't as nurtured as you should have been, you will look at the world in a pessimistic way. Maybe a kid never felt his mom's love or family's love as much, and so he will not feel himself worthy to even feel love from others or for themselves. And they will carry this out into the world and be very nihilistic about the things that they see. They will see no good things in the world, and it will just be a very dark way of going about things. I feel like most of people's egos are way too big to even like break free for a second from these things. It helps us view the world in an easier way, and that's why we follow these things blindly. We do it because it is familiar and it is harder to think critically, sit back and kind of break things down instead of just naming these things and giving things these titles. It is way easier to just make it easy and be like, yo, this person's a demon. This person, stupid. This person, they don't follow what I follow, so they're dumb. That is way easier than maybe thinking critically and maybe taking them in and humanizing these people. And that's the reason most wars are fought around the world, because we believe the other person to not be as human as us. We have stripped them from their humanity, so it is easier for us to do things to them, have war with them, and possibly even, delete them. I don't want the YouTube algorithm to come for me. But yeah. It all comes from the way we view the world. Just imagine a world where nobody is telling you what to believe or what to say. Nobody is telling you what to be. Nobody is telling you what to achieve. And like, imagine a world where nobody tells you these things, who to hate, what you should do with your life. What would your life look like if you weren't submitting yourself to these thoughts and listening to others, or maybe the experiences you've been through don't define the way that you think about things? What would your life look like truly? What would you chase? What would you do? What would you focus on if nobody told you what to focus on? If you want more content like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. Hope you have a wonderful day. Until next time.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?